Hello, Jeff here from the Crooked Onion Ranch. This is actually part 2 of my worm casting video. We had some internet problems and it came out as a short. So I'm going to try to make a long over this because there's a lot to go over. About 2 years ago, I started trying to worm farm, and I moved this box, which is 2 feet deep. I always say that, 2 feet from the front to the back, 2 feet deep and 4 feet wide. It's made out of plywood with just normal 2x4 framing. I used regular plywood because I didn't want fire rated or treated, because I didn't know how that would interfere with my worms. Moved it into the basement. If you overfeed them or get them too wet, they will try to get out of here, which I ended up with 1,000 red wigglers on the floor down there. I didn't notice it till they were dry because you don't disturb them very often. And I swept them up. I'm not going to be able to do this. And it's perfect temperature down there for them, between 55 and 75. That's roughly where you want to be. So I moved it out here and didn't really pay much attention. Filled it up with grass clippings, leaves, got it all ready to go, nice and wet. When I say wet, they say like a damp sponge. I do mine a little bit more than that because they seem to like it. Definitely not too dry. They will not like that. So I moved it out here. It was in the summer, last summer, and I didn't realize it, but it gets over 100 degrees out here in my garage. That's not gonna work, too hot for them. So I wanted to try it. I can't do it during the summer, can't do it in the basement. How am I gonna do it? I ended up bringing it back out here. I put insulation on it, 1-inch insulation. Some people were gonna throw away. Some equipment was packed in it or something, I don't know. I screwed it to all the sides, but I'm still worried about the temperature because 2 weeks ago it was -12 temperature here in Ohio. So the best thing to do, it's working so far. Got a couple towels in here. I bought me a 4-foot seed starting mat. Usually you put this under your seed trays for your peppers and tomatoes, seeds that like warmer temperatures, for them to germinate. It comes with a thermostat, which has a little cable that goes down in here. It's down in my dirt. It was 60 degrees in there. Today it's 18 degrees outside. I'm holding at 56 now. If I was to pull that out, you would see that just goes 55, 54, 53, clear down to 18 degrees, which it is out here right now. Inside the box, I'm gonna put my gloves on for this because you don't probably want this under your fingernails. On the top, as you can see, I just have dry leaves. These really seem dry, and that they are, but underneath, let me dig down here. I want to show you. I've had these in here since December. I tried to make it to where I bought them in Ohio so that they would have a short transit. Look at the dark golden dirt that you're gonna have for your garden if you do this. They work non-stop. I think it was Buckeye Organics. I'm not affiliated with them. Like I said, the only reason why I got them as close as possible was because I didn't want them traveling in the mail in this weather. So they pack them real nice for traveling. It would probably be great across the country, but I just didn't want to take that chance because our weather fluctuates so much in these months. So you just come in. Now, what do we feed them? Like I said, that's a little dry right there. Went inside, got me a little water. Not a whole lot. Just put it on there. Put some on there. I'm out in the garage, so that little bit of water is not going to matter. I'm going to mix that up. Mix it around, put a little more in there. Like I said, just a little bit more than a damp sponge. And this box is down about halfway. And I've filled it up twice now. So these red wigglers really do their job. I believe they eat their own weight, which they're not very big, only about this big, their own weight in a day. The reason why I use leaves is because I've noticed in my compost pile, I always have worms at the bottom of my leaf pile back there. So, things you can use. I had eggs this morning. I microwaved them. I would have liked to have had them a little drier, but it was just a few minutes ago. Put them in there. Now, will they eat those shells like that? No, but it's going to be worked in, and it's eventually going to go to my garden. Egg cartons. Standard cardboard egg carton. Don't buy your eggs in those styrofoam ones if you're going to do this. You can take these, you could just toss this whole thing in there, but it's best if you break it up a little bit. Just throw her in there. I've also seen people start their seeds in those little egg cartons. Once you pull your plants out, throw them in here. The worms will love it. It's what else I had this morning. Fried potatoes. Your skins. Sprinkle them in there. I've actually had those potato peelings sprout in here and try to grow up the sides. If that's happening, you know good things are going on in there because the plants are actually already trying to grow in it. Down in my freezer from last year, I found a bag of green beans. They were all freezer burnt. So we're not gonna eat these. Just sprinkle them in there. This here is one thing that I don't do, but I've actually seen people use their dryer lint in here. I don't do that. I'm not sure that this is all 100% cotton, and I don't want any synthetics in here, so I skip on that. But I have seen people throw old blue jeans in there, and eventually those worms consume them. So we're not going to use the dryer lint, but it is a possibility. Cardboard. You can cut these little cardboard up into little pieces. I saw somebody soaking them in water and then putting them in. You're going to be adding water anyway, so you could just toss these in if you want. And I have noticed that where it's corrugated, the bigger cardboard boxes, I've actually seen worms inside that. Kind of strange. Don't know what they're doing in there. Sprinkle that in. Any cardboard boxes. Now, problem. I don't like where the glue is. So I would rip that glue off and put that in a recycle bin and just use the sections of the box that does not have any glue. You do not, found this box the other day, any box that or paper that's shiny, you do not want to use that. So stay away from that. You get the boxes from Amazon, whoever. The tape. If you leave this tape on, what you're going to end up with is strips of this tape in your worm farm, and because they're not going to eat it. Then you got to sift that out, otherwise it's going to end up in your garden. The other thing too is like envelopes. If you shred your envelopes, do not shred them windows, them little clear windows with the address. Don't use those. You'll have to sift them out of here, and it is a pain in the butt. You'll end up throwing it away because it's so frustrating. So no tape. I would get rid of all that. I would only use the sections of the box. I don't even know if I would use this label, but I would use this side for sure. Another box. None of this goes in there. Don't do it. Just pull it out, throw that in your plastic bin, take it down. Here's a little cardboard box. I don't even know what was in it. It doesn't, this looks like it's all folded, so they didn't even use glue in this. I'm gonna tear this up, throw it in here. None of your beverage boxes. Shiny, stay away from it. Because of health concerns, I eat a lot of apples. I throw my apple cores in a Ziploc baggie, throw them in the freezer. One of the things when you freeze these, or I have some celery over here that's frozen, there's a lot of water in these. When you freeze it, it actually breaks the cell walls. That's my opinion. So when it thaws back out, it's more consumable for the worms. Don't think I said that right. Like I said, no editing. Throw them in there. Newspaper. I put it through my shredder. Not shiny. The ink, a lot of the ink that I understand is like a soy base, so that's okay. Sprinkle that around in there. And the apple cores and the green beans, that's got water in it. They're froze, so they're gonna actually release water as they thaw in here. And that shredded paper and cardboard is gonna soak that water up. That's how I'm gonna keep my moisture. So I'm gonna get rid of the shredded. When you get stuff, this is actually one of the better papers to get. This will be wrapped around your stuff in your boxes. You crumple it up, stick it in between so the stuff don't rattle around in the box. You can either just take this whole, lay it in there, or you can just shred it up. Throw it in there. I got a calendar the other day. It says, it's gotten a little wet. It's a good paper. It's not shiny. Again, most of the ink is soy based, I believe. Doesn't hurt them. It's not January anymore. Hallelujah, February's here. That means it's almost time to start planting onions. So, shred it up, wad it up, doesn't matter. Throw it in there. We got a little more. Throw that in there. Okay. Next on the list, went back to my leaf pile, my compost pile. And surprisingly, even at 18 degrees, I got this out of the inside of my leaf and grass pile, and it wasn't even froze. So here, this is one of the problems with composting piles of leaves, piles of grass. They clump up. Those worms will go through this and tear that up, and it's going to be great. So just throw that in there. Like I said, I get leaves from my neighbors. They give them to me. I go over there with my yard sweeper here and pick them up and dump them in a pile. Just throw that in there. Now this is kind of wet. This is almost perfect for the worms. So if I was to squeeze this, I'm not getting any water dripping out of it. That's where you want it. So I can just put that in there, spread it around. And they're not gonna like it really well, but there's actually a little bit of snow in there, but hopefully that's gonna heat up with that mat, be okay. Spread it around. I actually brought 2 buckets from back there because that was mostly leaves. Here's the dead grass. Excellent for worms. Now, it's February, so I don't have to worry about it. Do not cut your grass like in the summer or in the spring, if you can do that where you live. Grass gets really hot really fast. It would be way too hot for these worms. So you want it to dry out, get brown, and because it loses its nitrogen, because that's what heats up your pile. So don't put just green grass in here because they are not gonna like it. It's gonna get way too hot and it might even start stinking on you like sour grass. I'll put this in here. Spread that around. Like I said, this is 2 feet deep, so I got some room here. This bucket's actually frozen. Celery. We were making something with celery. We got 1 too many stalks of celery. Again, this is frozen stiff. Just pull this apart, sprinkle it out in there. When that thaws, it's gonna be great. I also use my coffee filters and my coffee grounds. They love it. I believe I heard that they actually use, the coffee grounds as a nitrogen, but they use this because worms have a gizzard like a chicken to help grind up their food. This actually is the grit for their gizzards. Don't know that for sure, just what I've heard. So once you get her filled up, we got a little bit of water left. I'm gonna put some in here. It seems like I'm putting gallons in there, but I'm really not. There was only maybe a half a gallon of water in my can. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. It's gonna take a while for this to warm up. I'm gonna put my heat mat back on it. Put my thermostat in about halfway down. Flatten her back out, get my cord straightened out. Like I said, I put a notch here in my box so my cords would lay in it. So this lid is not on the top with smashing the cords. Hopefully that'll keep it lasting longer. Do that, spread it out the best I can. Throw my towels back in. thermostat, I just put all that cold stuff in there. My thermostat says still at 50, but I put it about halfway down, so it's just below all this cold stuff that I just put in here. So now my heating element, the blanket or the mat, I see that it's kicked on, so it's already starting to heat that up from the top. I'm kicking around an idea so that where I can do this during the summer. As gardeners, we hate to hear we can't do something. Just like my summers here with my worms. I'd love to be able to do this year round. I'm kicking around a few ideas of how to keep this cool during the summer. Haven't got to that part yet. So thanks for watching. Like I said, part 2, and try it out. Your plants will love this. So have a good day. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe and like button, please. Thank you very much.